You know, I'm really getting tired of this stuff. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to WeSibz, West Coast, East Coast siblings, where we break down your favorite movies and TV shows. Guys, tonight we're talking episode 4 of Snowpiercer, and they just can't get enough of bathtub killings, can they? We got a lot to cover tonight, so be sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss an episode. Let's get into it. Okay, so this episode focuses mainly on Wilford and Miss Audrey. They were lovers at one point until Miss Audrey must have done something that had Wilford making her kill herself in the bathtub, like we've seen before. And let me pause here. I know the audience is kind of split on this moment. Most people agree with me that it's just a little too much, a little too different from what we've seen of Mr. Wilford in the past. But a fair amount of you guys think this helped this character and this really added something. But here's the thing. I think everyone would agree that the more you do it, the less shock value it actually has. He hadn't done anything like this in the movies and all of season 1. Well, he wasn't really in most of season 1, but to see him do this now, it's like his breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, he's always doing this at this point. So again, if I had an issue with it the first time, really not adding depth to his character or anything else to the story, I certainly am having trouble with it now the second time that this has happened. It's super weird and I don't think very helpful. Yeah, so Miss Audrey ends up doing some crazy voodoo weird simulation thing where she's messing with his mind and certain citrus fruits, and it was a weird scene, but she's mentally manipulating him at this point, and she thinks she's gonna be able to sink her fingers into his mind and make him, I don't know, either kill himself or give it up. I don't know. Wilford has too much of an ego to just lay down and let his train and all this just go away. But guys, the big exciting point of this episode is Earth is now habitable. Okay, at least in a cold suit. The fact that Melanie has survived this long, this is a big threat and challenge to Wilford's power, because people will now begin to think that even if Wilford's in charge or whoever's in charge of the train right now, it may only be temporary. Melanie even said in the last episode, we could be out here in our lifetimes. The Earth could reach habitable temperatures in their lifetime. So that's going to change the politics and just how much fear you're going to be able to push on these people, because they're going to begin thinking that whatever situation there is, it's only temporary, and eventually they'll be able to go out and live their lives on planet Earth. Melanie was off of the train in the cold elements, and we were kind of waiting to see whether she would survive. Snowpiercer was going to send a balloon up in the air, and then Melanie would start sending some data. So we didn't get information on what this data is and what it really means for the habitability, I hope that's a word, of the land and the Earth right now, but I'm assuming we'll get into that information in the next episode. Next up, we have some other developments with both Zara and Josie. So Zara is now part of hospitality, and this is all because Ruth was thinking that Leighton doesn't trust her, and he doesn't, and they've been at odds for a long time, so she's using Zara, and Zara is allowing herself to be used. Now, here's my issue. I understand why Ruth would use Zara in order to soften Leighton up to her, but what benefit is this for Zara? The best I can come up with is maybe she'll use this in order to get special access that only hospitality has to Big Alice and maybe some other things on the train, and give that information, relay that information back to Leighton. Again, Leighton doesn't trust Ruth. Maybe that's for a reason. Maybe Ruth is hiding things. Now with Zara being part of hospitality, maybe she could give him some of that information if there is any, but I really don't see the benefit of it for Zara. Now moving on to Josie's character, as we know, she's had a major case of frostbite covering most of her body. Now, the doctors Hayward, who I wouldn't trust as far as I could throw them, they offer her special treatment that they can only give her back on Big Alice with absolutely no visitors. And I'm sorry, I would absolutely not go for this, especially because you know they have a history of experimenting on people. Icy Bob, anyone? So absolutely not. But for some reason, Josie's like, I'm not going to survive here. Let me be of some use. I'll spy on people. Listen, Josie, do you really think if you found out anything worth knowing that they would ever let you leave Big Alice? I mean, this is kind of foolish. And at the end of the episode, she does see Icy Bob, and that's great. But who's she going to tell about this? She's basically imprisoned, and yeah, she's a patient, but she can't come and go as she pleases. So any information that she gets makes her more dangerous to Big Alice and Wilford, the less likely she's to come out of this situation alive, even if she is healed. And from there, I want to make a prediction, actually, and maybe Zach will talk about this in his episode, but I think that Josie might end up becoming a new type of Icy Bob, the female version, going after Layton and all those people with some kind of heightened abilities. Now, another small thing you may have missed, there was a character named Amelia who had gotten chosen in a lottery to go with Wilford into his big night on the town at Snowpiercer, and she's an Aussie. She, by coincidence, happens to meet another waiter who's also an Aussie. They both thought they were the last Aussies. And so they end up being friends. Now, the waiter, who I didn't catch his name, let me know in the comments down below, he gives her a pair of goggles. And he says, oh, maybe this is a way we can stay in touch. I absolutely guarantee you that he's going to take that information back to Layton, and Layton's going to use that to spy on Big Alice. The connection that she feels with him is going to make her secretly sabotage Big Alice and Wilford, especially as Wilford is showing to be more and more of just a diabolical can't talk tonight. Diabolical, sick in the head dude. Now, something else that they developed earlier on in the episode, but they didn't quite wrap up by the end, was that Bess Till, the detective who's now working in Layton's place since he's president now, she's very nervous that Wilford supporters that are on Snowpiercer are going to turn on the tailies and support Wilford, and it's going to be a crunch. It's going to be a taily sandwich. That was weird. It's not going to look good for Layton and the gang if they turn on him. And with Wilford being in Snowpiercer, having a grand old time that night, I'm sure he won some supporters. People like Ruth, she's always on the fence for me. I mean, she reiterates time and time again that she's loyal to the train and the survival of the train, but she's also a fangirl of Wilford. And so I just don't trust her in that moment. I don't think she would betray Wilford. Another small thing, we got to see Miles again. It's been a while. They obviously have replaced him as an actor, I think. He looked much older than he should have aged between season 1 and season 2, but I could be wrong on that. It was nice to see him. He was supposed to be a genius, and back in season 1, we were thinking, oh man, this guy's going to take over for everybody. He's so smart. By the time he's, you know, a teenager even, he could probably run the whole show, but politics and everything that's happened since the end of season 1 have totally put him on the back burner. Alex and LJ now seem to have created a bond, a sort of friendship with both of their moms possibly dying, with LJ's mom obviously being dead and the threat of Melanie dying. They were able to bond over that, so they'll probably become friends. And again, as we would naturally expect, there are more and more bonds happening between tailies and Snowpiercer people and the people on Big Alice. So what I'm assuming is if Wilford doesn't really gain the trust and love of the tailies and a lot of these people, just like the Aussies and everything, they're going to be too connected to go to war with each other, especially with people like Andre Layton kind of saying kumbaya, you know, let the people rule. That's a message that a lot of people could get behind, but I think that fear might be an ultimate motivator, and if there's one person who likes pushing fear, it's Wilford. He's really good at it, so we got to watch out for that. Now, speaking of Alex, let's talk about her and Melanie, because in my last episode, I told you not to trust her. Now, she comes clean a little bit and says, I didn't know I would like my mom this much. I didn't know I'd like Melanie. She had built up so much resentment, so much hate for her mom that when she finally met her, a lot of that dissolved really quickly. And I would say that I'm about 70-30 at this point on being able to trust Alex. I'm moving in that direction, but I still don't trust it because I feel like that's what the show wants you to think. And then they're going to stab you in the back. As soon as we trust Alex, they're going to pull some shenanigans and she's going to betray everyone. So guys, those are the biggest takeaways and my reaction for Snowpiercer episode 4 of season 2. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Of course, I'm ready to chat it up with you guys every week. I have a great time. If you guys are still watching at this point, like the video. If you're liking the video, it really does help grow the community, give you guys more people to talk to, and it really does make the product and the community better as a whole. Also, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next episode. I try to post them as quickly as I can after the episode, but what I may start doing is I may start going live right after the episode to chat it up with you guys, even in the comments. So let me know if you're down for that in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.